much.
Also here, Tammy Bruce, president of Independent Women's Voice, a Fox News contributor, and Robert Zimmerman, Democratic strategist and Democratic National Committee member. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Robert, we gave Mercedes a fair shot at the top to explain what the president's going to say, maybe give us a little preview what he's going to say at the podium. Your reaction to a night in Las Vegas that didn't look pretty good for the Democrats.
I have to tell you, Ed, every time Democrats take the stage and they don't discuss Donald Trump's budget, which is designed to make significant cuts in Medicare and Social Security, or the fact that Donald Trump now has brought the federal government into court to sue to block pre-existing insurance coverage for people with pre-existing conditions, that's a missed opportunity.
Which he addressed in the State of the Union, he said that that's not going to happen.
But exactly what's happening. If you look at his fiscal 2021 budget, he has made significant cuts in Social Security and Medicare, and of course he's in court, as we all know.
So if that's a disaster, why is your party
not?
Why are they not making that case?
Well, by the way, they've got to get their act together and do it. But of course, it's also important to remember that if you look at the Wall Street Journal poll that came out February 17th, every leading Democrat is beating Donald Trump in the country. And the Quinnipiac poll, February 10th, showed that every Democrat again is beating Donald Trump throughout the country. And he's a president now with a total of average of 44% approval rating.
But Tammy, when you see those Democrats who were on the stage last night, I know what some of the polls say in a potential head-to-head matchup, but could any of those Democrats really beat President Trump?
I think it's clear. Certainly, even some of the Democrats in the field last night said no. Tom Steyer said, Donald Trump won the debate last night. Bloomberg said Donald Trump won the debate last night. So, and Bill Maher is saying that he doesn't think any of the Democrats can beat Donald Trump. He's having his best weeks ever post impeachment, and so a lot of people are scrambling, wondering what's going on. The difference, I think, and you broached this with Mercedes about the number of people during the Republican primaries with Donald Trump versus now. Donald Trump spoke about the issues. And he was definitely, sparring with all the other guys there. But that was an issues-based primary framework. And he was
But there
consistent.
were a lot of personal attacks.
Well, it's not like only. But what people heard was both. And they heard about things that mattered to them. And what they also saw was a man who was himself the same guy throughout. And he was consistent. He also had a history of being able to do what he said he was going to do.
Let me just make a fair point that the president, as a candidate, he led this, I'm going to take on China. I'm going to negotiate new trade deals. You and other Democrats laughed at it, but he promised those on issues, an issue-based
And here we are now. His former chief of staff, General Kelly, said Donald Trump got played in North Korea. Donald Trump, in fact, withdrew from northern Syria, and now thousands of ISIS prisoners are released. And don't interrupt, Tammy. And hundreds of ISIS soldiers have been released. And in fact, now Iran is now moving forward, developing nuclear weapons.
Well, but they've been doing the Obama administration.
But the point is, he made it easier by getting out of. But he made it easier by unilaterally withdrawing.
So
my point to you simply is that when you look at Donald Trump's record and the Republicans in 2016, where they were attacking where Donald Trump was attacking gold-starred families and people with disabilities and war heroes.
You're throwing out all kinds of stuff.
Exactly, but it's all factual. We know that.
This is one of the reasons why the Democrats are doing badly, because of filibustering on making statements that have nothing to do with what's at hand here.
Right.
I will finish this now. The difference is...
It's like a Real Housewives episode.
Fellas, well, this is another reason why the Democrats are in trouble. Yeah.
You're going to finish this now.
So this is a dynamic where people want to hear about the issues. They want to know where people stand. And instead, you get this kind of petty bickering that happens not just with Democrats who are the pundits, but also the candidates themselves. People leave a debate. People leave a debate without knowing where the Democrats stand. They leave a debate watching people snipe at each other in that kind of regard. They listen to people when it comes to issues of sexism and racism and even
Let's
homophobia.
Be clear about this.
And
you talk about filibustering.
Standing up for social security.
You made your point, Tammy.
But Robert, you had a cheap shot on Housewives. I'm not sure why you did that.
Because now that's a bit abrasive and a bit unfair. The bigger point here is Democrats.
But you're launching all these things about Gold Star families and this and that, and we're talking about trade.
It's called a word salad.
And the economy
and Social Security and Medicare.
Which your candidates didn't talk about last
night. And by the way, the next debate they've got to focus on it, but let's not disguise Donald Trump's record.
I think word salad to sexism is not helpful.
Donald Trump's record, which has been to dismantle Social Security and Medicare, which has been to...
How has he dismantled Social Security?
His radical cuts he's made in the programs are unheard of.
He hasn't made cuts. You're saying they're proposed cuts.
That's right, and they're unheard of.
But he hasn't dismantled it.
Well, by the way, look at what he's trying to do with people with pre-existing conditions. He's trying to abolish that type of coverage. So the point is, you've got to...
So how does your party come out of this? And we're going to get Tammy.
How does your party come out of this? And let's also be clear. clear. We just saw today, it was reported that one of Trump's administration officials from the National Security testified that once again Russia is now trying to help Donald Trump win the election. And of course, we saw the director of national intelligence removed for saying that. And one more thing, I apologize, Tammy, I was wrong to make that reference to Real Housewives.
Okay. I appreciate you doing that. Tammy, your response.
Well, again, I think that this is the problem that the Democrats have, which are word salads that do not address any of the issues, turning to snipey sexism when they get caught and get upset. It is not what the American people want. We are all better than this. We all deserve more than this. And if the debate, whether it's this one from last week or the one that's coming up, if the American people watch the Democrats, as the president will point out, are only gazing at their own navels and are only focused on condemning people who are successful, condemning farmers, condemning people who might have to take a shower at the end of each day because of the work that they do. It moves through a kind of identity politics that opens...
But Tammy, why aren't you talking about Social Security?
Let her finish, and then we're going to give you the final word.
For 1 second, for my goodness. I mean, this is what we've got to be dealing, I think, with the nature of the issues of what we expect the people on those panels to be dealing with.
And Ed, Tammy, you talked a lot about addressing the issues. You don't talk about Donald Trump's plan to cut Social Security or Medicare. You don't discuss Donald Trump.
None of that is true. None of that is true. The problem with you, Robert, is that there's a lot of things you bring up that are not true.
You don't bring up the fact that once again,
you bring up things that are not true, and that is one of the major issues.
Don't talk over me, Tammy.
Robert, you've talked about Social Security 3 or 4 times.
Right.
You bring up Russia. We've dealt with this for 3 or 4 years now.
The Trump administration testified in Congress.
So your final point.
The Trump administration, not me, raised again that Russia
intelligence officials are saying they're concerned about Russia. We're going to talk about that to Trey Gowdy.
They said it's happening. And the intelligence officials were removed from the Trump administration for bringing it up. Tammy, you talk a lot about issues, but you don't specify where Donald Trump stands on them.
Robert, Tammy, appreciate both coming in.
Always great to be with you.